Hello, everyone.
Oh my goodness. It was such a joy to present this film last Thursday. And I was super nervous because you had never seen it before. And you were in tears. And I was like, it could only mean two things. And I was hoping for the better one of the two options.
Yes, I cried all the way through. It was such a beauty, so intimate and so well done. We're all blown away, all of us that were there.
Thank you so much, Eva.
Mm.
The next person to introduce to you is Pramada, who is Eva's son, who is in the film. Yeah, there, with your daughter, right?
Yes, this is my daughter over here. And off screen is my beloved.
And your son's here too. He's over here.
Nice. And I imagine that in the Q&A session, there'll be a few questions about, what we'll see in the film about how you grew up, which was quite different from how I grew up and many other people on this call. So that'll be really cool. So thank you for being here. Thank you both. The next person to introduce to you is Charles Eisenstein, who
Hello.
is somewhere. He was there. Yeah.
Yep.
The reason I've asked Charles to talk about this topic is that, well, first of all, the whole reason that Campfire Stories exists is because of a book that Charles wrote maybe 15 years ago or so. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the background. And Charles always gets slightly uncomfortable when I do, but that's the price of doing business. So I was already a filmmaker in the regular film industry when this book came my way. I'll show it to you. It's called The Ascent of Humanity. And in this book are answers to questions that I had long forgotten that they were important to me, like questions that I had in my childhood and growing up before I shut them down, before I, got a haircut and got a job and had a career and forgot about asking about magical stuff or asking myself why things were the way they seemed to be. So the book had a tremendous impact on me, and I was also in the life crisis in a positive sense of having a child who was then 1 year old. So I hadn't had much sleep in a year. So my defenses were totally down when I read this book, where Charles talks about the story of separation and the story of interbeing and what that means. So I won't get too much into that, but that was the beginning of me realizing that I want to still make films. I love making films, but I want to do it in a different way. I want to do it in a way that is in service to this earth. How can I do that? Can I do that? And the next book I read was another book from Charles called Sacred Economics. And from that one, I had the idea of, or he gave me the idea of gift economy, or I had never heard of the concept of gift economy. But all of you people on this call are testament to the fact that gift economy can work. A lot of you are Patreon supporters, for which I'm very, very grateful, chipping in $3 a month or other amounts to give me a small salary to keep making these films. So I'm so grateful to all of you, and I'm so grateful to Charles that you wrote this book and that it came into my life at the perfect time. And I'm trying my best to be one of the little ripples that you might have imagined when you wrote this. Like, I know how it can be to put something out in the world and you ask yourself, well, is this going to go anywhere? Who's going to take this in? And I'm trying to be someone who took it in and carrying it on in my way, in the way that makes sense to me. And in this book, Charles, you wrote about the hippie era, and I always kept that, even though I don't remember now exactly how you phrased it, but I always kept that in my back pocket. And whenever people started calling me a hippie sometimes, because I moved to the countryside and I started growing my own food and I got into food fermentation and all that kind of stuff, it was always a double thing. I was like, should I be proud that they're calling me a hippie, or should I be, are they trying to put me down? It was always like a jokesy sort of, oh, you're such a hippie. And I never really knew how to take that. So anyway, I thought it was such a wonderful thing when this film came my way, when Eva's story came my way, and Pramada's for that matter, to be able to make this film and call it A Hippie's Diary and really dive into that a little bit. But before we see the film, Charles, would you please speak a little bit to what the hippie era, in your view, meant, and what it could have meant, and maybe what it might yet mean?
Yeah, well, thank you, Mattias, for that very beautiful introduction. Yeah, when people call you a hippie, there's maybe sometimes derision in it, but often there's a little bit of envy too, because that ideal of the hippie, what people mock and belittle often is something that they also want and recognize. So I think that there's always been some of that, aside from the contempt, there's also envy. I have like some special feeling for the hippies. For me, there's no contempt in it at all. It's all admiration. I was gestated during the Summer of Love in 1967, which was the peak of the very, very pinnacle of the hippie era. And one of my earliest memories was actually being in a park in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which was a hotbed of hippie culture. And my mother was taking me to the park, and I saw some like gods and goddesses. It seemed like these beautiful people with beads, and flowers in their hair, like the the very archetype of the hippie, almost a caricature of the hippie. And I said, "Mom, who are they?" And she said, "Oh, those are hippies," she said. And I just felt very attracted to them. So yeah, I've in the film, I believe Eva says something about encountering these hippies and feeling at home with them or finding her people. And I feel the same way, that the hippies, it's like they're from the same place that I am, or they have a memory of the same future that I'm remembering. And their very presence on Earth, even though that era is in some sense gone, their very presence on Earth reassures me that I'm not crazy. Because if I'm the only one seeing it, maybe I'm crazy. But if all these other people saw this possibility of a more beautiful world, maybe it's true. Now, there's a lot of critique of the hippie era, that says that it was naive, had their head in the clouds. And the proof is that all of their predictions didn't come true. In 1967, it was obvious that in 5 more years, there would be no such thing as money. There would be no such thing as marriage or patriarchy. There would be no borders. There would be no more wars, because consciousness is evolving and expanding and we're awakening. It was obvious. Well, 5 years later, 10 years later, 20 years later, most of those hippies had become accountants and dentists, lawyers. And maybe what they saw was a hallucination. Maybe it was just a projection of their of the moment. And you might say, well, if we feel the same feelings today, we feel the possibility of a more beautiful world, if we feel that the crisis of our present moment and the breakdown is a gateway to something, is a birth crisis, if we feel that way, the cynic will say, well, they thought that way too, the hippies did, and it didn't happen. How are you any different? Well, one way that we're different is that we have the shoulders to stand on of the hippies. They opened a portal to a different kind of civilization and anchored it here. We can tap into what they initiated. So the difference between us and them is that they didn't have them. They didn't have these shoulders to stand on. And we do. We have an example. We have others who have already established the vision and begun to generate the morphic field. And maybe they had shoulders to stand on too, the beatniks, or the idealists and utopians of the previous century. I mean, sure. I'm trimming some of the details to make a good story, but you can feel that there's truth in the story, that they established a post in a new territory, and now we can touch that post and feel some of what they felt. And so these stories, like the stories that Eva tells, these are powerful. They speak to that part of me that still is timid to believe what I actually know. Those videos of Woodstock, those thousands of millions of young people with flowers in their hair. Are we just going to dismiss that? What part of you wants to dismiss that as just a bunch of nonsense? How does it feel to be in that part of you? And what part of you would just love to actually believe again? So these are some of the questions that, maybe not even questions, but awarenesses that I would invite you to bring in as you watch this film. What does it speak to in you? And that cynic that says it's not possible. What pain is that cynic speaking from? And is there a part of you that actually knows that it is possible? Despite all of the evidence to the contrary, the part of you that understands that if the situation were hopeless on Earth, you wouldn't even have come here. You wouldn't come here with your yearning for a more beautiful world, with your knowledge that it's possible, with your gifts that can contribute to it. You wouldn't be put here if those gifts were useless, would you? That doesn't make sense. There's a different kind of logic operating here. So yeah, I'll say that for now. Mattias, did you want to follow up in any of that?
Well, there's obviously, I would love to delve much deeper, but let's stick somewhat to the time frame that we agreed upon. I have one more question that I'd love to pose to you. Maybe you can do like a short, whatever comes to mind. So in the film, Eva talks about her school years being just evaluation and a lack of creativity, and how you're not asked, you're just told. And later in the film, not to spoil too much, but when she moves with the Osho community to the Rajneeshpuram, if I'm saying that right, there was something called School Without Borders, where you learn, because you're building a house, so you need to learn math, and you're part of the community. And with that in mind, would you, like if we just named you Minister of Experimental Education here for a moment, what kind of programs, or how would you, if you had some say in the matter, shape, or like what compass direction would you take out for another type of school? And if I may throw in also, because everybody's talking now about AI, taking away a lot of the things that humans have been doing. And so sometimes I find myself in a very dark forecast, trying to look for like a glimmer of hope in that schooling might change, because we don't need to learn all the stuff that AI is going to do much better in a generation. But maybe that's outside the scope of the question, but take it away.
I mean, I could talk a lot about that, but I think that Rajneeshpuram is the village, founded on around Osho. More than a village. I mean, it was a small city. I think that they have the right idea to dissolve some of the boundaries between the children's world and the adult's world, between play and school and work. One of the lessons of school is that everything is just in the classroom and it doesn't matter. And you can try to frighten children into thinking that it matters because it's for your future and your permanent record and your grades and your future success. But in the moment, whatever you're doing is contained in the classroom. It's not real. You're not actually building something that somebody's going to use and to live in. And so that community dissolved some of those boundaries. And to talk about AI, like there are things that AI cannot do. Anything involving requiring a body, for example. And there are, even when AI can imitate the words that someone would say when they care, it doesn't actually care. It doesn't have the feelings that we have. It can imitate the feelings, just like a psychopath can give a very good impression of loving and caring and being compassionate. So that means that there will be situations in which the output of a feeling human being will be different than the output of an AI. And that includes like constructing houses. What does it feel like to be here? And the philosophical question is can the imitation of reality ever equal reality? So it goes, I could, philosophize that about that a lot. But I don't need to. I can just speak to this desire we have to reclaim being alive, to reclaim being in the world, the physical, material, social world of the flesh, and to reverse our escape into the abstract and the digital and the quote spiritual. So, yeah, I would, a more beautiful school system would start by even questioning the idea of school. And maybe we bring some aspects of it back, but let's start with a clean slate. And maybe, this film will awaken some of those memories of the parts of existence, the parts of being that cannot be digitized. There's something real here. And we are desperate for it. And the more digital substitutes we have for the real, the more hungry we become.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you so much, Charles. And thank you for being on this call. I feel so blessed right now and a little bit nervous because I think the time has come to share the film. And after the film, we'll do a Q&A, and we'll see. I don't know if you will stick around, but it'll be more directed, I think, to Eva and Pramada. And interesting, when I was speaking about school, that Pramada was a kid in those Rajneeshpuram years and growing up in the school system, in the School Without Borders. So we can, if anybody has questions for him about that. If they don't, then I do. Is there anything you want to add, Charles, or shall we move the program along?
Yeah, let's move it along. I'm going to watch the film as well.
Excellent. Let's go and watch the film, and I'll see you guys in 30 minutes. And again, I'll be in the chat if there are questions. I want to ask Pramada if you would, because in the film, and it's funny that I really wanted to have you in the film, and you live in California, and I was making the film here in Järna with your mother. But so we set up a call similar to this one, where you're in the film. And it was such a brief thing, and you guys were talking, and then I threw in a question like, what was it like for you to grow up there? But I really would like to hear a fuller answer. What was it like for you to grow up on the ranch and even before the ranch? And how would you describe your upbringing that perhaps was a bit different from most people's?
Well, for me personally, sorry. I was very touched by your movie. And thank you, Eva.
Mhm.
I personally had mostly a wonderful time. Other than, as I said in the movie, was
Do you want to cry some when we get back to you in a bit?
Maybe, yes.
Yeah.
Me and
looks
my
like-
son,
yeah.
we did that just after the movie. We called and just cried together.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'll mute for now. Come back.
Sweetheart.
Thank you, Pramada. Thank you for just, I mean, maybe that was the most beautiful answer we could get from that question. Thank you. Thank you. Can I just say also how much I like you? Let me say that publicly. Just from the little thing that we've been having leading up to this, I'm like, and I realized that we're almost exactly the same age. It's like I just like you, man. That's it's out there now.
Thank you. I agree. Thank you. And really thank you for this movie. You did a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Thank you. All right, Janie, you better step in.
Okay.
To break up the Cry Fest.
Okay. I'll invite Rod to come and share his thoughts and see what direction we lead next.
Thank you, Janie.
Hello. Can I be heard?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Yeah. Eva and your son Thomas, was it? I really relate. I lived in a spiritual community in British Columbia for 20 years, and the question I have revolves around this curious fact: what makes that magic work? And it seems to me I keep coming back to a strong leader, and then, as you mentioned, when the interface isn't true, it all goes for naught. And the community I was a part of, which was hugely successful for many, many years, and it was just heaven to hear your son still have those feelings about community. Me too. And it always relates back to this pipeline to a spiritual experience. It was truly love. And how does that get lost is what's just to this day haunting me. When I press my fellow community members, they don't seem to want to talk about it, maybe ashamed, embarrassed, confused. I don't know, but to me, this is, why does it take a leader, and can we be those leaders? I guess is the question.
The question is to me. Shall I try to answer that?
Sure. Yeah.
It's never lost. It's not lost, and we don't need a leader anymore. I think we are the ones. I mean, I think after all of this, we've spread all over the world, and we are affecting our community where we are. And I think we are all empowered by that short period that we had, what's possible, but now we are living it. I mean, that's what I feel like. And now I feel like wherever I go, it's my community. It doesn't matter where I am in the world and who I meet. It's the same for me. It doesn't matter. I say hello to people in the street all over the place, or I see somebody beautiful, I hug them in the street even, I mean, I don't feel like we really, I think having a leader is a thing of the past. I think we've learned our lesson, and I think we've been empowered, and I think living that, we empower everyone we meet. It's impossible any other way.
Wow. You know how I resonate with that? I love the Grateful Dead music, and they were the epicenter of that scene. And Jerry Garcia, the leader, continually refused to be the leader.
Right? Good for him. Yeah. I mean, just look at us today, with the love that we all share just this moment. We don't need a leader. Or thank you, Mattias, for making the movie. You're the leader here right now. Yes.
I'm thankful that Janie is taking over as the leader, so I can sit back.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rod, by the way. You're always around for these calls. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you.
Sai, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right.
Yay!
Come and speak.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you, Mattias, because this was very beautiful to watch. By the way, I'm the son of Pramada and the grandchild of Eva, and it was having a hard time not crying throughout the film. It's really beautiful, and yeah, my father and I shared some tears together after the film. And I just wanted to thank you for providing that perspective, as it's really valuable and I just want to speak on it like my grandma said, it doesn't die, it's still alive. My father has and my grandmother have both taught me all all the beautiful parts that I have heard coming from the ranch, from the experience they were passed along to me, and we keep it up, we keep it alive. My girlfriend's on here too, Mercy. She knows that we've built a community based on love too. Just it doesn't die. And you don't need a leader. You just have people that you love around, and you just can recognize that in one another. And I just wanted, it's what Eva's path has passed its way through my father and to me, and I can't thank them enough. And thank you, Mattias, for just having a film to make that story alive for everybody to see. So
thank you, Sai, and sorry for cutting you out of the movie, by the way.
No.
So this is in the scene that you see in the movie where Eva's talking to Pramada. The actual call was with Sai first, and I was filming that as well. But then in the editing room, I thought it might be confusing. I thought it was a cleaner storytelling-wise that she's talking to her son, who we were just talking. Like otherwise, it's like, oh, who is the? It would be too confusing. But I apologize to you for cutting you out, man. It won't happen.
You didn't. I heard me say, my voice was in there. There's pictures of me. I'm in it. Just perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pramada, I want to invite you to jump back in if you have thoughts.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it together. I had a wonderful. Oh my God. So, my beloved reminded me that we meet often still. A lot of the kids.
Can I talk for you?
Yeah, please.
So what she's trying to say is that we still have a really big group of friends from back from the ranch, from Rajneeshpuram, and the school we went to in England later, a boarding school, also Osho school. And all these gatherings we still have here in California. We chat, we're by the bonfire, and the evening always ends with all the stories the kids had on the ranch. Every gathering finishes with all the stories. The good times the kids had, the whatever, what else, like bitches on the ranch.
So there was an inner circle of mamas, it was called, and they were the kind of the power holders. And they were the ones that were intense for us. And some of the older kids, because I was about 7 to 11 on the ranch, and some of the older kids felt more exploited, but I had a absolutely wonderful time. Yeah. Almost all the time.
All the stories you tell are like, oh, I loved my mother. She was there, but she was always in the background, but I knew she was there, so I felt loved, and I just had the best time of my life.
Yeah,
that's what
it really did.
He always says. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Thank you. Rebecca, I invite you to come off mute and share.
Yeah. It's absolutely, I'm so happy that I was invited to see this. And there's so many questions, but one of them was actually, how was it to come back after after the ranch period when you moved. Some of my questions were actually answered by Pramada, that you somehow, I think, maybe did move to England or something. But I just wondered, how did you manage to, after a life in a huge community like that, building the dream, and with the collapse, how did you manage to actually then transform it into a new life? I don't know what happened afterwards. I have so many questions.
Okay. I mean, when I left the ranch, I left Pramada with his dad, who lived in Brooklyn. So he stayed there for a year. I came back to Stockholm, to a community here where my brother lived, and lots of sannyasins lived in a big, beautiful house that they just renovated. So I lived there for some time. And then in there we had like a center, we had meditations, and so there was community already that I moved back into. A year later, Pramada came back and moved in there also, and he started going to school, which was an international school, so it was all in English. He learned Swedish then in 6th grade in Stockholm, and so I lived in community back here as well. It took some time, and then I got actually a flat, and we lived in a flat when he was a teenager. But all that time I was part of running an Osho center, but that's when I started also creating programs for managers. So for about 20 years I used all the meditations and all the exercises that we did in personal and spiritual growth that I had done for since the end of the 70s. I translated that into programs for managers. So people came from Volvo and SAS and the the defense department, and the IT boom was there. And then in the end, I was like also for women leaders and women entrepreneurs. So I had a 7-month program that was called Existential Leadership. And then I ran the program here in my town that was called Successful Feminine Business. The town I live in is like a community because people are growing together. They're musicians, they're entrepreneurs. Like I said, it's not lost. It was never lost, and I used everything that I can to give it away to other people also, because I always wanted to make a better world. So that's why I also work with managers, because they are central. I mean, they affect hundreds and thousands of people in their companies. So if you work with key people like that, you can affect. They learned how to use their intuition, how to coach from a meditative space, from a presence. They explored inner man, inner woman. I've seen middle management in net stockings, and we had women's lunch and anyway, I mean, we did that. I did that for 7 years. So a lot of people that were touched by this and learned, and they went on to do other careers, and somebody became a priest, somebody else became a therapist, and some are still managers and affecting people. I remember one woman, she said she had somebody from a whole other department come to her and says, your leadership is affecting us in that department the way you are. So it was not like, I was defining not managers, but leaders. I even wrote a book about this 10, 15 years ago. It was called Moment of Truth, a New Leadership for a New Time. So I guess I brought it all with me and created whatever I can, and always looking for. When I moved to here, I had no idea I moved into 3rd generation hippies in the town where I live right here. And this town is the closest I've been to that kind of community, actually.
So great. Thank you. Pramada, may I ask you? May I ask you how it was for you when you sort of left the community? And
well, at first it was quite scary because that was our inner world. Mm-hmm. That's how we were raised. And it took a transition to go from that to living in Brooklyn, New York City. Mm-hmm. But I love that too. It's I've moved so many times and been the odd one out. But I have a huge community of friends, both from within the community and just people I meet that are the same. I don't know why it's so overwhelming, but yeah, I think it's fully alive. And just like my son said.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Nancy, go ahead, and I see that you're unmuted. So please ask your question first.
Well, thank you. I'm just so grateful to be here today. And I want to thank you all for this beautiful, beautiful portrayal of what you've done. It's such an honor to be here with you all and Eva. And I love it. Here I am at Woodstock also. And having gone through that whole experience of being in the hippies and still having it be the one example of humanity being able to come together and be together in humanity and community and harmony. It's very profound and very touching to now hear Charles also talk about how we actually did, by living it, show a way that's still profoundly true and an example of how we can be. Because Woodstock alone, where we came together, 500,000 people in a field with no infrastructure, no water, no whatever, quite the experience that, despite the media thing of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, yeah, we were hungry for something else, but it wasn't food. And we came together and we were nourished by something else. And that is that love and community. And we did it one time. Anyway, there are a lot of us. Thank you so much for this. It's just so beautiful.
Thank you. Mattias, I think we have time for one or two more questions, probably, yes?
Yes, we have 7 minutes. So yeah, 1 or 2 more depending on the length.
Okay. Shanti, I will invite you to come off mute and speak.
Oh my goodness. I'm so happy you made this movie, Mattias. I really want to share it with my family, my friends, because I stayed in the ranch almost 4 years and I lived in Pune many years. And this is one of the best pictures because of Eva. This is gorgeous. Who you are comes through the movie. And when you say it's not lost, it's not lost. It's buried in my bones and blood. My gift from Osho is just extremely valuable to me. Even the hat of Osho that he wore in later Pune came to me through my partner who I was with only for 4 years. He got a hat that belonged to Osho given to him, and now I have it given to me. And so I have even physical feeling that here is Osho in my house, in my body. And my time on the ranch, I mean, I want just to make the big distinction between Osho and Sheila. When I watch Wild Wild Country, I say that's the movie about Sheila. If you want to know about her and power and guns and takeover, watch Sheila. I have 4 years of letters that I wrote to my parents, and I shared some of them with Charles Eisenstein's group 2 years ago in North Carolina. Some people came, and the progression of the letters is just pure love and pure freedom and pure joy. And then by year 4, okay, now it's going down. Now I can see it, the takeover, how Sheila took over. But that was not Osho. And for me, Osho and me is this love and joy and celebration. And we are living it wherever we are, and we are being it. And I want to just say to Eva, I mean, I just love your fashion. I love your clothes. I love your creativity. I don't see Eva. Where are you?
I'm here. You don't see me if I don't speak. That's it. Yeah.
Gorgeous. Your movie is gorgeous because you are gorgeous, and you're such a beautiful representative of all that happened. And so thank you. I came later. I only found Osho in 79 in New York City, and I came to the ranch in spring 82. And it was just the best part of my life. I call it heaven on earth, basically, because that was the joy I felt. And thank you, both of you, so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think there is time for one more if it's a little bit on the briefer side. So Janie, you know who's been having their hands up the longest.
Tink, I'll invite you to come off mute.
Thank you. I just I'll be really quick to just say thank you, Mattias, for making this movie. Thank you, Eva, for sharing your vulnerability. I feel like I was born, if we want to call it a hippie. I hate generalization of anything, but hippie is peace, love, and sharing this world through love. And we live in Massachusetts, and I feel like this country needs more than ever to believe in the power of community. And Mattias, you offer us that. And Eva, you're being willing to share through your story the possibility, and you're saying we don't need a leader. It's all here in our hearts. And if we lead with our hearts, which this community is about, we have the power to make connection, like you say, with everyone. And you really showed that in the way you live today. And Mattias, through all your films, you offer us what is possible. And this country needs that more than ever. And we all need to believe, if we want to call it hippie, fine. We are all hippies because hippie means living through love and living through believing we can impact each other through loving each other, no matter what. And this is that example. So thank you, because my God, in today's world, in this country, boy, do we need this more than ever. And this matters. You matter, Eva, Mattias, you matter. Every single person here matters. And I'm just so grateful.
Thank you.
Well, I cannot think of a better way to end. Thank you so much for all the love you're spreading, and for putting that exclamation point to the screening. I'd like to utilize the last 2 minutes to speak about the next film actually coming out from Campfire Stories. I can't remember now the release date, but it's in March 20th or something, and it's about a woman also in this community where Eva and I live. Her name is Angelina, and she's knowledgeable about herbs and herbal medicine. And it's not a topic that I'm super interested in, but I fell into this story and fell in love with it. And I'm very proud and happy about that one too. And I want to speak now so all of you guys who are on this call now, most of you or a lot of you are Patreon supporters. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. But I'm speaking now to the people who are watching the recording afterwards to let you all know that if you want to be on the live portion of the call next time, you can also join, and you can cheat a little bit. You can join. It's $3 a month, and then you can just cancel. That's fine. I don't care. But I want to create this little bit of a fence so that the people who are inside of the Patreon fence feel the love a little bit extra. That's why this portion. Plus, it's a good size when it's 100 people or 50 people, that we feel a little bit more familiar with each other. If we had 500 people, it might be a little bit overwhelming. So join Patreon if you want, and thank you guys who are already there, and thank you so much to Eva, to Pramada, and to everybody on the call. Thanks to Janie, and thanks. I haven't seen Charles in a bit, so he may not be here anymore, but thank you anyway, Charles. And with that, let's go pop open the champagne and celebrate. It's Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mattias.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. It was wonderful.
Lovely to be with you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mm.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.